What would you update that is not in the book, considering today's society mentality?
Well, one thing I'd probably add more or talk about more, because when I was younger, I used to think these things were common sense. It's just stuff on like red flags,
Mm-hmm.
things you should look for, and I just see the same thing over and over. I mean, I've been doing this 20 years professionally, and guys that have the biggest problems with women they can't get along with, or they're difficult, or they're liars, or they're cheaters, or whatever. They say one thing, they do another. Just low character people. Is that if the dad did a good job, typically she turns out okay. If she loves her dad, respects her dad, admires her dad, because a lot of times I'll ask guys about that. And, oh yeah, she's got a good relationship with her dad. She loves her dad. And I'll say, well, so tell me about the family. Does the mother run the household? Does she kind of walk all over the husband, the father? Did the daughters kind of walk? Well, yeah. So he's kind of a pushover. Yeah, and because the problem is he's having with the girl is she's kind of a tyrant and she doesn't respect him. She belittles him, berates him, and kind of nasty. Doesn't causes drama and doesn't can't talk things out calmly at all ever. Gives them the silent treatment, those kinds of things. So if they grow up in a family where you punish the other person and you let them suffer for a period of time,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to work anything out. I had a girlfriend who was like that, and she grew up without a dad. And if the dad's not there to kind of peacefully mediate conflicts between you and your siblings and other people in the family, then like what I found is that you just get a lot of I don't want to talk about it, and they'll hang up on you or they'll go into another room and they literally will not talk about it, and they just let it stew for a few days or a week or so. And because when you're talking to somebody who doesn't live with a girl like that, well, I haven't heard from her in 4 or 5 days, and I reached out trying to talk things out, and she says she's still mad and she's going to get back to me when she feels better or when she's ready to talk or whatever. And it's just you're in a relationship with somebody, and then we're purposely not talking because she's mad.
Mm-hmm.
And it's how many times do you get to the point where 10 times, 20 times, 30 times that happens where you get sick of it and you're like, I don't want to deal with this. Whereas somebody that can, if you butt heads, you can talk things out and you can work through your differences and move on with your lives the next day. But the other person, it's like they're constantly pressing pause in the relationship and leaving you twisting in the wind, which is just emotionally and mentally abusive.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't solve problems unless you can talk openly and honestly about them. The other thing is like we did a video years ago. It was one of the first ones I think that we did that did real well. The red flags, and it was like a TikTok video,
Mm-hmm.
and then it got shadow banned.
Yeah.
Um, it's like you see things like women that got the more tattoos they have, the higher the incidence that they're a little screwy. The more they have piercings in strange places and excessive amounts of piercings, or wacky haircuts, or wacky colored hair, green, purple, short. There's a running joke on a meme on Twitter and Instagram, and in nature, bright colored animals are typically a warning that don't eat it. Don't like a Portuguese
Poison.
man o' war
Yeah.
is this purple, crazy purple color. If anybody's ever touched one or got stung by it,
I
it's
have a scar right here.
and then you got girls that got crazy purple and red hair. It's
Yeah.
so the joke is that in nature, like real dangerous animals tend to be very bright and colorful. There's like an octopus.
Beautiful.
Like there was it's like a little small octopus that's incredibly poisonous, and one bite usually can kill like 10 humans or something like that. I forget the name of it.
It's the blue spotted.
The blue spotted octopus.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a video I saw. It was like last year. The guy's holding this thing. And this octopus is moving around. He has no idea it's like one of those deadliest animals in the world. But the running joke is that the bright colors are really a warning.
Yeah.
And so the wackier the hairstyle, the wackier the dress, the piercings, the tattoos, that tends to be a sign of craziness. It doesn't mean it's definitive, but there's just a higher incidence. It's just like dating strippers. If you're going to date strippers and sex workers, there's going to be a higher incidence of girls that come from broken homes. I had a phone call recently with a dude that was in a relationship with a stripper for a long time. And it's, she came from a broken home, didn't have a good relationship with her dad, and it's at a certain period of time, the guys finally start to realize like this is not going to get any better with this person. You either have to put up with this, or you got to find somebody new.
Mm.
And so, as far as what I add in the book, it probably be a couple chapters, or maybe I do a supplemental book, something on vetting. That's because I talk a lot about that in videos, and but that's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head. Because other than that, I mean, you're using messaging apps, you're using FaceTime, video chat, Zoom, texting, calling, audio only. You're recording little voice memos to people and sending them through the apps or through, your messages on the phone or your computer or whatever. So it's the same process. What creates attraction is what creates attraction. The communication devices or apps may change.
Yeah.
What's so funny? Did I miss something?
Do you want to ask, or?
You said ChatGPT.
Well, I mean, we've talked about this before. So, with this whole AI movement, what are your thoughts on people using like ChatGPT or other AI formulated response systems to
On dating apps or texting or whatever?
right, to communicate and to formulate like personalities for themselves, alter
Catfish people?
egos.
Like, how do I
Yeah.
respond to this
Like
message?
they ask like in-depth questions to these AI like modules, and they're looking for guidance through the AI on
Yeah, how do I
relationship.
respond to this text?
My
Or,
girlfriend's mad at me. What do I do?
Yeah. Like my boyfriend and I are fighting about this, this, and this, and we cannot come to a resolution. Where should I go from here? How should I deal with it? What do you recommend? Like, how should I respond to him? Please give me 5 to 10 different ways that you think I should respond, and exactly word for word how I should phrase it in person or in text or via email or if
Make
I'm-
it sound like me.
and it's actually getting to the point where AI is getting that smart that they can ask you a couple questions about yourself and
yeah, Elon did say in about, I think, 2 years, AI is going to be smarter than humans.
right. So
Yeah.
what is your thought?
Oh, how to respond to your
Thoughts?
boyfriend? And how are they working?
What-
Is it good solutions or good texts?
Yeah. It's like what you would learn in therapy. Some people use ChatGPT like
Instead
a
of
therapist.
therapists, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer an actual therapist,
Yeah.
a human.
Yeah, I'd say something that'll help you get out of a jam, like what you're talking about. You're like, what's the right? Because if you're angry and pissed off, it's gonna be kind of hard to compose a text that's kind of calm, and you're thinking things through. And the Chat GPT can give you something that sounds great. That's one possibility. Or like online dating, you're texting with a girl and she sends you a message, and you're like, how do I respond? But at the end of the day, if you're doing that, she's going to get the impression that you're a certain way, and then at the end of the day, if you're going to date and you're going to be intimate, you're going to have to get together in person at some point. And so it's kind of like the back in the day, the pickup artists, like the Mystery Method and Neil Strauss and those guys. They had a lot of magic tricks and routines and things they would take women through to be able to seduce them, typically on the first night that they got them, or over a series of a couple of dates. And what you saw, like with mystery, is like once you run out of magic tricks and you've done all your routines, then the girls start to realize this guy's got nothing else
Right.
other than some great magic tricks and some things that'll get a girl into bed, but maintaining it and having a true soulful companionship. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're weird and socially awkward and you're not comfortable around other people, you can fake it for a while, and that may get you a date,
It may
get you in
a
front of that
relationship.
person, but as soon as you sit down and start talking to her, she's going to right away realize that this does not seem anything like the guy that I met or talked to online.
Online.
And so I think it can help guys, patch things up, but you're going to have to be able to interact with a woman one on one and have a real human relationship. Now, maybe you get a little ear speaker thing to put in your ear, and ChatGPT can be listening and telling you what to say. I mean,
It's a
I'm
thing.
sure people are going to pull that off.
It's
already a thing.
There'll probably be dating shows where they'll be doing that, and the AI will be telling the person what to say, and maybe they'll mix with the algorithm a little bit just to kind of fuck things up to make it interesting. But you know, life and relationships, what is really kind of learning to exist with another human being. And if you have kids, and then now you throw kids in the mix and other human beings, that's a big part of what relationships is learning to exist and live your life with one another, living in the same house, eating together, sleeping together, using the bathroom, getting your car washed, going grocery shopping, dealing with family members, and especially this day and age, certain family members that have different political opinions and they don't like each other or don't get along, and some people are afraid to bring up politics, and other people are not. But if you're weak in human interactions and you're weak at small talk, once you get off the digital device and are interacting with somebody one on one, you're gonna have to sink or swim on your own merits. But I think it definitely will help you, and in a lot of cases, can probably help you formulate responses that are better than you can come up with on your own, especially if you're emotionally hijacked and you're pissed off and you're really triggered by something your significant other did and you're really angry and you want to lash out at them. And then it writes up this really nice, calm response. Like there's a Microsoft commercial about that. This guy writes this email. It just, they're used to him writing emails that sound like retarded and has spelling mistakes. And then so he has this email crafted to, I guess, his boss, and then the Microsoft AI recommends, here, change it to sound a little more professional. So he sends it, and the guy's reading it, and he's like, what? And he looks over at this guy like, this can't be the same person.
Yeah.
Because he's being very professional and saying all the right things. There's no mistakes. And it can, it's like spell check or WordPress. But at the end of the day, if you are weird or socially awkward or haven't developed your social skills with other human beings, when you finally get face to face with that girl that you use the chat, GBT or any of the other ones the other AIs that they've got or that'll come up in the future, you're gonna fucking faceplant and crash and burn really quickly, and she's gonna get a weird vibe off you right away, and she's gonna know that something's off. It's oh, this jerk off must have used his fucking iPhone to say all the right things. And I wasn't talking to him, I was talking to his fucking iPhone, which was really just a damn computer. And that's very manipulative. And it's not going to end well. So girls are going to get wise to that at some point.
It's like catfishing.
Yeah, it's kind of like another version of catfishing. And it could get to the point where it gets so obnoxious that people that got social skills or a good social life are just, they're not going to mess with online dating because their in-person connections go so much better. And I've always found that meeting people in person and through the people is you just tend to have a lot more in common. They tend to go easier and more effortlessly.
Well, I actually had this conversation with my brother the other night, and I asked him about like AI and all that and how it's going to be perceived with like businesses and employment in the future. Because if everybody is using AI to tweak themselves and everything at the workplace, well,
it's like really good spell check.
Well, not even that, but
spell check with add-ons.
What the fuck is the point of
just
working?
Get a sex robot.
No, but no, what the fuck is the point of working or even applying yourself, using your neurons to do something that it's just a click of a button?
You're not learning.
You're not learning. Humans are going to become illiterate
Dependent.
They're absolutely already dependent
Yeah.
on technology. And we are going to become, it's just really stupid as a whole. But then what's the point of competition and like hiring human beings when you know that they're just behind a computer clicking a button? It's not even, you can't even comprehend it.
Well, just look at where we're at now. I mean, all the technology we use here and all the apps and all the software. I mean, just every time we do a video, we upload it to, we're uploading it to Rumble, we're uploading it to YouTube, we're making an article on the website, we're uploading it to Spotify, then we're sending the reels to Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and other platforms. And, we all know that shit doesn't go smoothly. It's, you might get booted out of your Facebook and then your video doesn't load properly or upload, or you're waiting on the speech to text app to transcribe a video so you can edit it, and then
But that doesn't even
this
work.
system's kind of not working and it
Right.
has an error. I mean, you, at least right now, you need humans to do a lot of things, to have the interactions with one another.
But that's right now. The other day I was doing my own research and I found something that could, we don't have to put that in there, but I literally found something that could replace the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
That could replace both of them in a click.
And Corey, because I think you can even go on ChatGPT and put, give me advice how Coach Corey Rain would from his book 3% Man. And
It
it'll,
needs
like,
the original, so like what you're
Mhm.
saying, like it needs him.
It would need my
needs his-
conversations with the clients
yeah.
to see what I say and why I say, because you're not going to get that expertise just from
Yeah.
reading the book and how I would
Right.
coach somebody.
They would have to transcribe the entire book and then AI it on top of that. But what I'm saying is, like,
'Cause
I
the-
literally found an app that you have to subscribe, like, you have to have a subscription base to. You don't have to, but obviously the subscription base is, like, where it's at. And it will take our video session and create the most insane reels
Mm-hmm.
with just a click.
Yeah.
And you can sit there with your feet up, get your manicure, get your hair done.
Well, that sounds great because that's the ad, but actually using that,
You have
because
to
I think
tweak
I
it.
know what app you're talking
I'm not going
about.
to say it on here, but yeah.
I know which one it is. It's like, I'm sure it's like a good idea, and it'll get better with time, just like Tesla self-driving gets better
Yeah.
with time. But at the
Thank
end of the
God. Thank
day,
you, Elon.
we're still going to have human interaction. People, are going to live life and come up with better ways to shave their dogs, or better ways to brush their dog's teeth, or better toothpaste to, to clean your teeth better, or, invent. It's like necessity is the mother of invention. And so there's subtle nuances to everything. And so, like, why people end up on the phone with me is that there's a nuance to something that's going on in their life or their relationship or their business or something with their career, and they want my expertise to run the situations and scenarios by them, because the people in their inner circle they don't feel can help them, and they've looked for other sources of information, and it's like people are paying me for my expertise and my life experience. And again, that's just not something that the algorithms are
Right.
going to have access to. But at some point in time, let's say in a future point in time, the AI becomes better than Corey Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Then what?
Well, that's because
Well, we
people-
still sit around and probably do a podcast and talk about shit and
No,
share things, is because people want human interaction. It's like, why do we watch My 600-Pound Life? It's because you're fascinated. You're like, how can somebody sit there and just eat themselves to death like that? And then you watch and you realize, oh, it's the mother, the dad, the sister, the brothers, the aunts, the uncles, the friends, the other extended family members are coming over and enabling their behavior and shoveling the food, bringing the food into their room, because some of these people they don't even get out of bed ever. They piss in bed, they shit in bed. Their nurses come in and, give them their sponge baths in the bed. and it's like 95% of them end up dying. And it's like, well, why do we watch that? Why do we watch Jerry Springer? What? There was one of those romantic shows where I keep seeing these clips for the last week on Twitter where there's this. It's a Spanish guy, and his hot girlfriend is in the hot tub with some other dude, and he's spanking her butt, and they're fucking, and so the whole show, it's like they expose this guy, like when the cameras are all around and the other cast members there. Oh, by the way, your girlfriend or your wife, whoever she is fucking this guy, and here's all the footage of it, and he's freaking out, and so the clips are going viral. That's humanity. Would you rather watch real human beings interact like that, or are you going to watch a bunch of Tesla robots dressed up as human beings coming up with crazy stuff?
Are you sure that it wasn't like an AI like rendition of?
It was one of those romance shows. I don't know what it was, but I don't know what the purpose of it. But the one dude, he was like losing his shit because he was sitting there watching video of some guy that's also on the show fucking his girlfriend or his wife or whoever she was.
It was probably one of those that like you swap partners, like ultimatum or something.
It didn't look like it was all in Spanish too, so they were speaking Spanish.
I have no idea. I can't help you there.
Well, that was like
Do you know which clips I'm talking about?
No.
Now I'm intrigued.
So at the end of the day, people are going to want that human interaction, and if you listen to the World Economic Forum, what do they want you? They want you to have a little pod. They want you to stay in your pod, put your virtual reality glasses on, and sit in there and eat the bug paste all day and just be distracted by their virtual world and interact with no human beings. Mm-hmm. That's their nihilistic view of the world. But at the end of the day, people crave human interaction. And as great as these technological devices have been at doing a lot of things for us, especially the younger generation, they're like too dependent on the devices. Mm-hmm. And when you watch younger people just interact, there might be 6 or 8 of them, and they're all just on their phones, or they're trying to take the perfect picture for their Instagram feed with their group of people, and they're not really enjoying each other's interaction or conversation because, and when they're not trying to take a picture or something, they're all like on their devices, and even if they're walking together, flipping through things. Mm-hmm. Maybe 1 or 2 are talking, the rest of them are just flipping through on their phones because they're totally checked out. It was like yesterday, we were at lunch, and there's all these beautiful boats going by, and there's this older couple that sat down next to us, and
they were on their phones.
Yeah, they looked like they were in their, because the guy could barely walk, and they were on their phones the whole time. They barely talked. And these were old people. It's like a pacifier. It's like a digital pacifier. Just, it's like what a lot of parents do. Oh, shit, let's, just give her the fucking iPad so she'll stop crying or whatever. It keeps people, or video games, excessively playing video games and checking out from life. You got to participate with other human beings. That's what makes it beautiful. Somebody coming up with a original piece of art that was in their mind's eye and they painted it. AI can come up with cool things, but would you rather have something that a computer made or something that a human made over, a week or two? I guess it really depends on the quality of the art or the cost. Maybe the one that's created by the machine looks badass and it's 5 cents in the dollar compared to what the artist did. So it'll be interesting to see what happens and how society evolves, but we're still probably 15, 20 years away from robots and the AI just really taking over a lot of things that we do today.
2 great movies that came out, I think, in like the early 2000s about like robots. Bicentennial Man with...
that was a good one with Robin Williams.
Yeah, that one was really good. And then AI with Haley Joel Osment. And Bicentennial Man, he falls in love with his like owner, and then AI, one of the robots.
Well, it's actually the owner's daughter.
Yeah.
And he's like the family robot, and as they go through the family's aging and growing up, and all eventually she becomes an adult, and so technology continues to advance, and so they continue to do upgrades to him. And eventually he takes on like a human skin and a human personality, and then he makes himself age, so he'll die like from old age like a human being would.
Yeah.
It's a
And
pretty interesting movie.
that's a good movie. And then in AI, Jude Law, he's a robot. He's a prostitute. But it's so funny because in a couple of years, we'll probably be there. That's
I
like,
think we're already there.
We're
Jade.
already there.
yeah, well, that's like that picture that Kim Kardashian took with,
It's like
her
a Blade
robot.
Runner type thing.
Yeah. It's just crazy.
The original Blade Runner.